much for joining me. I appreciate the 9 of you that liked that last video. If you don't mind, stick around. I know there's normally about 4, maybe 5 of you that would constantly like the videos. Could the other 4 of you that showed up for this one please be kind enough to support this one with the same tenacity, if you will? Please. We're trying to help other people, and the only way to get them here is that you kind of share the video by hitting that like button or leaving a comment. It'll definitely help, but definitely the likes, man, because we want to get people help. Thank you so much for doing that. All right, so stick around, please help us out. Most viewed videos here: universal threshold, how far the live candle pulled back, price action trend, just need to be able to count to 10. The price action method, I use the majority principle, which states that the minority is compelled to follow. And in that chart scale, I teach you how to read your hard right edge. Let's go over here real quick, because I've been doing this this morning. So this morning, here. This morning, was it here? Yeah, 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:07 here. Yeah, got reactions from both signals on yesterday. All right, so we got that reaction there, and that was on 15 minute, 60 minute. All right, and I told you guys in yesterday's video that pivot was weak, so I put this out here this morning. All right, so just take a look at that, and then we're going to look at this chart. I did double back and show them the climactic chart that I have. All right, and I have all the indication listed on the chart that I'm going to show you. I didn't have them here. I didn't want to do that. But climactic view of the chart and what's happening now, I wanted them to see that. And again, that's the climactic activity. There's actually 3 different climax setups that come on here, but I only got 2 of them, that's really significant lit up. All right, so here's that chart. They went to the zone. All right, I said the low was weak yesterday, and this morning in this morning's post. Now take a look. We got signals from above forcing it down. The 60-minute needs to stop it. All right, the 60-minute needs to stop because we're heading back in that zone. That's that low I told you guys about yesterday. All right, so now let's go back up here. And of course, that based on that snapshot I showed them of that climactic chart, I'm gonna show it to you as well. They were here when I had shot that in the first post, and they took off. All right, so that's that climactic activity. All right, so let's come over here and let's go ahead and pick apart some of this information. I'm gonna show you that climactic chart first, because I'm not gonna explain that. I just want to show it to you. So here's that climactic chart. They're just now coming up. Let me just scroll through this to back to where we were. All right, so that's where we were this morning. They ended up taking a dive, and again, you can digest this information. Here's all the indication listed. So if you're in possession of the suite, single bar plot anomaly, all of these are single bar plots, except I want to say the quick trend finder. That's 2, and this one here, that's not a single bar plot. Nevertheless, the rest of them single bar plots. Everything else is a single bar plot. All right, so there you go. All right, so I'll scroll through this, and you can just kind of pause the video and take it in. And again, it's 3 different climactic bars that can show up on the chart. I got 2 of them highlighted here. All right, so and when I say 2, red and green, so bullish being bullish, or bullish blue, bullish green being bullish, and bearish being pink and red. All right, so those are the 2 that's here. But there's one more I don't have here because it's not as significant to me. It may mean something to someone else, but that's what I got. All right, so there's the video there, and you can see that they're on their way. All right, so really important stuff. The trick, and I'll just say this because I don't want to like go into this kind of activity. The trick is to trap the pink and the blue. That's just the trick. If you can get them to trap the pink and the blue. So let me scroll back there again with that information in mind. If you can get them to show up, the blue, you should get them to show up and start trapping it. All right, they were up here this high, but it's not under a high. Get them to get it under a high, and then want to start break down, then you got it. And then down here, if they begin to trap the pink, hopefully they'll just stay up. But if they come back and trap that blue, you got a problem. So now if you look at the 930 here, they had the blue. Okay, so they had the blue and they didn't want to fall under it. That sucks because the pink is outside that shoulder. All right, so then they pushed up, came up here, and then that's when they trapped that blue here, and they just kind of stayed under there forever. They had every intent on going up because they was trapping the pink down here. I really didn't want to have to go through this, but they were trapping that pink down there, so they're down here. You need them to break the bottom. They turned the corner. This blue got trapped. They clipped that under the high. You would hope that they would stay down, but then they changed it here, and they went above that, and then they dropped. Okay, so then they dropped. They want to do that. It's fine. It's not perfect. I just want to tell you that. Here's the blue here. They even went under it. Impressive. But then they came back here and then they hit the pink, and that's what they have intended to do. All right, so now you got an idea of how that worked. I may not show that all the time. I may not even show it anymore, but I just wanted to show you that for all of those that like volume stuff. That's what you got there. Now here's another chart. It's a little bit simpler than that one as far as volume, because I only have one indicator in here with the push X, because that's what we've been following with the circles on the bars. So I put, this is the volume benchmark institution. Again, one bar. It's a 1 bar setup, and you follow the money. Now this was them up here. You want them to trap the green bars clearly, okay? Because sometimes, and this is how it works, they initiate moves as well as exit. Okay, so they flip the markets, as well. So you need to make sure that the intent is to drive it down. So you get a high, get the green bar under it, and let it break. All right. They had the red one here. They went above it. Well, stay up. And here's your blue pivot. I just put that there to indicate that, because we're going to be using red and green boxes. All right. So now let's go forward. I didn't want to zone that out up there. I didn't. I zoned this down here. This is after 9:30. So let's just take a look. All right. So keep in mind the green and red is this volume benchmark institution bar color. That's what that is. Single bar plot. There's the push X, our favorite one that we've been using for the past 2 weeks. They're coming into this low. They turned the corner. They didn't break the bottom, and then they broke that red bar. That absolutely sucked. Okay, so they went above the red bar, and so then they leaned over, and now they're breaking green on the way down. Now that's bad, because now you got two scenarios. You got this zone here, that blue zone there. That's a problem. Now keep in mind our red and green. Just try to take all of that in, because they did a lot of back and forth in here. So I'm just leave here for a moment, and I'm not going to go through all of it. But from this high, let's just look. They came up here to our signal. They trapped that red, ran up to our signal, turn the corner, and then start trapping green. All right. Now we're going to talk about the trapping of the green is bad, because you don't want that. You want them to actually drive it in that direction. Here's them returning to there. They came out of it, then they came back in it. It popped up. Well, let's get it going. Show me some red. Let's get going. That didn't happen. They went down even further. Here come the push up, and then of course here come the red driving it back down. And then here you go here. Now they trap the red on the inside with the pivot below. Stay up. That's all you got to do. They turn the corner. Here's the green coming in on this side, and they broke that, and then they managed to get through there. Now here's the tricky part. They breaking the green, but to the upside. Okay, you need them to break it to the downside. That's the wrong direction. So they're on this high here. You need them to break that red. They ran all the way up there to it, but then trapped that green. So the green is in there. They ran down here on this bottom, and then they got active down in this zone. They got active in the zone, popped up. Now you consider them trapping that red, because that is happening above this pivot. This pivot is weak. They'll come back through this too. So they got above that. They leaned over, and then they went even higher. Trapping red still. And then over here, again, leaning over. Where's the green at? You got to trap the green under this high. That's not there. And then, of course, you can see them coming in here. That's picking it up, because they're willing to go past it. You can see it here. They forced it into that drive down, and then that's them trapping that red after turning that corner. And now here come your green. And look at the behavior of the green now. The green comes in. They're not breaking those bars. All right, now they're driving down here. You don't see the green. What are they doing? Because usually they will show up for the brakes. Well, they didn't. They got down here, hit that red, broke past that red. The green's coming in, but it's not coming in under a high. Here's your red. All you can do is anticipate that they're going to pick this back up, because they're not trapping green under a high. Here's your green here is at a high, so they can lean it over. Here's the green here, break of a high. There's the green forcing it up here. They're trapping green now. Well, just hold it. That's all you got to do. And then, of course, this is them coming up, trapping that red. So you can see that turn here. Let's get this low. 439 and a quarter. What is this low here? 441. That came in above. So they're trapping that red. So they're there, and that's them gapping up. Now, I'm going to take you back to here really quickly. And then we're going to look at our charts. And then that'll be the end of the video. And I hope you guys have been enjoying this information. Please, if you don't mind, stick around. Please stick around. And continue to support the videos. All right, so I'm gonna just put it right here for a second. I'll even dial it up to a higher time frame as well, so you can kind of take a look at these institutional bars. All right, so here we go. Just take that in. Look at that. Look at that crazy mess. All right, so they did a lot of that today, and I wanted to make sure I throw this in front of you so you can take a look. Now I'm gonna skip through each one of these just really quickly, because I don't want to hold the video long. Now I knew of course, got all this stuff on the chart, but just remember what I just said about the 1 minute. All right, you want to get them to trap red bars inside, of a shoulder. So here's them here. They leaned over. Okay, this is get ready to turn into a shoulder, because they're trapping the red bars. And this is weird because they put this under that high, but it can't be both. Remember that it cannot be both. And then they blew past that, and there's the acceleration up. All right, so now let's go to the 15-minute here. Again, please, please support this information. That's the only way I am going to be able to keep delivering this content. We're trying to get people help. Well, you can see it here. You can absolutely see it. And again, this is the hourly. If you're trapping the green, this is hot. This is on fire. However, you came back with that red and you blew past it. It can't be both. All right, and that's all it is. I'm going to scroll back here just a little bit, give you some more of it. If you want to look at it again, this is the hourly. This is what kind of kick started that whole, shenanigans to the downside. That's them doing what they do, and they're committed to doing it. I promise you, they'll do their best to take everything from you, and I want to help you not get the market to run you over. I want to do my best to try to get you there. All right, so that's the 15-minute here. Let's go up to the hourly. All right, kind of same thing. Here they are under the high. That green bar is under the high. Blew past it. They're gone. All right. Here go the green here, trapping the red. Fantastic. Stay up. They leaned over just a little bit, popped up even higher. Well, just stay up. And so they blew right back past that. That is not what you want to see. They're, of course, lifting. Here's the green. Hold this high and break that green, you're going to go down more. And so they did that. And then here they are coming in on this turn with the red, and they're breaking past it. Red right here, they're breaking past it. And you might not be able to make out all of this, but it's red in here, and they're trying to break past it. Now I'm going to just scroll through this just a little bit, kind of let you see. I'm gonna just add. Well, never mind. I ain't gonna add no days to it. You can kind of see what happened here. They got the red here, and they took off. All right, so that's that chart there. Again, I may not show that anymore, but today is going to be volume day. Let's do it that way because they had a lot of whipsaw effect here. Let's take off this zone. I took off that other one went with that snapshot because they ended up going through it. So let's take off this one here. All right. So and again, they came into the zone. I told you about the 4 bodies overlapping. We talked about. Let me just put the diagram here. So the only thing the market can do is, of course, the things that we're going to go over. But if you get a body and these candles, bodies, just bodies, you get a candle, I'll say a candle, and these bodies, 4 of them get trapped in there, you got a problem. There is a way to trade this. I can't divulge that to you. You have to be on the private playlist. What we're looking for to get it to work, and again, this them reacting from the zone, they never made it back down here. I think they'll blow this low. I put that there in the video, and I told you guys about this low yesterday. That was here. I told you that this low is weak. They came really close to it, but they didn't break it yet. It's okay. It's okay. We'll just keep that in mind should they want to turn around. How about that? All right, so that's what you're looking for. Now, when it comes to reading the chart without anything on it, I want to go ahead and tell you it's this diagram that you're seeing on each chart. I'll go over it. I'll draw it out because it's a little bit easier to do so. But we were here, and I told you if they get to the center of the chart, that can create a problem because then they'll make that trend distance. Because I told you 7 should show up right about here. If you want to go back and watch the video from yesterday, you're more than welcome to do so. That if they made 7, that's a trend, and they can go up. And I told you that you don't want them at the center of the chart because that's a trend. They'll go even higher in most cases. So they got a little bit close, and then they ended up making the trend distance and got to the center of the chart, and they just wanted to keep going. That's all. So they wanted to keep going there. All right, so let's scroll this forward. Now, what makes for the majority in the chart? There's only 3 ways it'll show up. I want to go ahead and tell you that so you can get your trading to work. You have to find the candle, okay, the live candle that's moving. You got to get the mid of that candle to exceed that bar's high, okay? That diagram is over here. It'll turn green. So that if this happens, this bar turns is green if that mid get above the high. If it's to the downside, you're trying to get this candle's midpoint to exceed that low. Now we're getting the 4. So here's that 4. We just went over that. You do not want the candle mids to fall into the prior bar. You could end up in trouble. It's not to say it can't go. Oh, it can go. It can go. I mean, you see here, we have no red bars in any of this, but it's going down. The problem with dealing with chop, overlap, chop, stuff that'll get you in trouble, you need to be looking for this. So if you don't know how to trade stuff like this, you need to start your trading out with just this and this alone. This should begin to make sense to you. Now, what you would do is you would take this particular pattern. Let's do the upside because that's what they're doing. You would go to the distance of this. So you let the market tell you how far it's going to go. You would put your stop behind the green bar here. Okay, that's the green bar here. And you would hold it until it gets there. That's all you would do. Don't make it complicated. Please don't do that. Trading is very simple. and I want to do my best to help you see it. So they still need to get here. They haven't made the first one. I'm not worried about that second one. They haven't made that yet. And you'll say, well, Dave, they have a red one there. They absolutely do. They ran past it, right? So what I want you to do, I want you to do that. So if the red one won't work, I'm going to need you to turn it around and say, hey, well, if you're not going to go that way, there's only absolutely one way you're destined to go. Because this is an up and down experience. No, they can't go sideways. I know people be saying that, but that ain't it. I want to go ahead and tell you that that's not it. They're going. They may not be going to the speed of your liking, but they're getting there. All right. And occasionally it's not going to work. I just want to go and say that it's not going to work. There's nothing I'm going to tell you about trading that's going to make it work. The pressure comes on when the mid exceed the high. So when the mid exceed the high, pressure comes on. So what you would do, the bar should turn green. You can get into it in real time if you want. Bar should turn green. They should go here. Keep in mind what I just said about it not working. So if this decided to absorb our signal and not work, what we're going to do, let's take that same distance that's supposed to be here and let's do this. That would put them back down near here. Okay, it's not to say they can't, well, they almost here, so you might as well count it as that's a win. So all of that 4 inside stuff that they just did here, that information there that they just did, I want you to just kind of keep in mind, where are they intending to go before that showed up? That's the simplest way of me telling you about it. There's a way to trade it, but that's the simplest way of me being able to explain it to you. All right, so if they want to absorb this signal and not go up higher and reach that distance, I'll just draw this out one more time. If they don't want to reach this, okay, if they don't want to reach that, and I'm going a little too high on it, but if they don't want to reach that, they're going to, try to get here. And that makes sense with the chart scale because we got a bezel, right? Okay, top of your chart, bottom of your chart, that's your bezel. It's a frame that holds a fluid picture. That's all it is. It's a picture though. So you don't have to look left. You don't have to. Whatever's going to happen here will show up over there. I guarantee you that. So let's make sense of what's happening here so that way you can succeed with what it is that you want to do with trading. All right. So if they want to come to the upper part of the chart, it's still bullish. They can go up. All right. So if they want to come down here, that's totally fine. Look for them to, want to go back up again. That's all. Just look for, because they're almost here, and I think you can count this as a win because they almost made it. All right, so it's just that simple. Now the next thing I want you to try to find is big wick, little wick. So this is all over the chart. Everything I'm explaining to you is everywhere. You don't have to squint. You don't have to do a whole lot of studying. This is what you got: big wick, little wick, small body fitting into this body twice. It may not have these scenarios, all right, but it still needs to be that body fit inside of there. Now, the threshold aspect, I don't have it on the bars. I do provide that, but I don't have them up here. You get the candle, all right? There's a threshold on every bar. Every bar. You don't have to trade this setup if you don't want to. I do encourage you to start right here based on what I'm about to explain to you. This live candle that's moving, I really need you guys to start right here. This live candle that's moving, when it trades into this candle, just buy it and aim up, all right? Just aim up, and here's the only thing. I'm going to need for you to just go for the distance of this candle. All right. The rest will take care of itself. All right. Just go for the distance of that candle, please. Don't be fancy. Don't try to do, anything else. You don't need any oscillators and all. You don't need any of that. None of my indicators reference oscillators. I want to go ahead and say that to you. It's education. That's all it is. And should you want to learn more, come to the private playlist. That's all you have to do. And I'll teach you about time, how to get in the market based on time. The market responds based on time. This is me just letting you identify what majority looks like. If I tell you the win, it really changes your experience. All right, I just want to say that if you implement what I'm saying to you, that's the most important part. All right, so if it goes too far in the bar, it's going to blow the bar. They almost made it, so we can count that as a win as well. I hope that you guys have absolutely enjoyed this video. Again, this is for the volume people. All right, because I know I have an audience that trade different ways. All right, so whatever tools you're using, you're more than welcome. I got some volume stuff too. It comes in different forms. I got climactic volume stuff, okay, and I got, of course, my volume benchmark indicators. This is just one of them, just the institutional one. All right, so I got several ways to offer you guys help. Whatever you do, don't go give no vendor no $300, $400, $500, $1,000 Don't give them guys that money. And that's just me being honest with you. I don't want you to do it. For what? I'll give you 300 indicators for $100, and it works on the free version of NinjaTrader. So you don't have to pay for a license on the platform if you don't have it to do that. You can still receive the help that you need. All right, so I wish you all the best with your trading. Please, please support the video. Take care.